So you want to step back into Dark Hours, but you're a returning player from, say, a year ago, or you're a fresh player just hitting into endgame content now. Stick around. This guide's going to give you the ups and downs quickly on how to do Dark Hours raid in a pug group with some mixed experience players and new players. Stay tuned. Okay, so boss one, Boomer. He's got a couple mechanics. You want to bring 7 DPS with 1 healer for future initiative BTSUs. Otherwise, that person can also go red build DPS. So all DPS builds. 2 individuals are going to be kiting the boss and working with the turrets at 45 and 41, while the other 6 individuals are going to be between the computers and floating and killing ad control. All right. So basically, you're looking, it's a square room. It's got 2 turrets at 41 and 45 diagonal corners across from each other. Those turrets are used to break the immune towers that you see along the perimeter of the map. Those towers have to go down first using the turrets in order to start the fight. When the fight begins, Boomer comes out near turret number 45. We're going to need 1 person on 45 to shoot Boomer in the backpack, while a second person shoots his chest plate to get threat on Boomer. When Boomer targets you, you want to kite him towards the turret in front of the turret so that the turret player can shoot the backpack behind him until he drops to a knee. When he drops to the knee, all DPS should burn the boss. Call out when he drops down so that everybody knows he's down. It will burn for about 2 or 3 of his armor bars, and then he'll go immune again. At that point, you want to make sure that whoever has threat on Boomer turns and runs towards the turret number 41. That's going to be on the opposite corner from where turret 45 is. When you kite Boomer, you always want to go in kind of a circle around that middle square input. The DPSers, the 6 DPSers that are not kiting the boss / using the turret, those individuals have to be covering the ads while Boomer is getting kited around. So if Boomer is not on one knee, your main focus is to burn ads on the perimeter of the map. Do not worry about Boomer. Do not worry about the chest plate. Those 2 are only for the individuals that are kiting Boomer, which are designated at the start of the fight as the 2 kiters. The last thing to note is that the screens on the middle square corners on the outside will light up. They originally read online. They will light up when an alarm goes off and say A, B, C, or D in blue. You want to call out those screens on what letters are lit up as blue. So if it's A and C, you want to call out A and C. 4 players go to the center area and cover each computer. So you'll see there's 4 computers on the inside square around the corner from those TVs. They're labeled A, B, C, and D. You want to make sure that you press and hold F until your computer completely shuts down. That means that you've done the mechanic correctly. You have to do the correct computers. Otherwise, if you don't click the computer or you hit the wrong letter, the autoimmune turrets will come back up and you'll have to use the turrets to burn those back down before you go back to killing the boss and the ads. It makes it very difficult to have those immune towers up while there's ads and the boss running around. So it's best to continue to kite the boss until that happens. So a recap on this fight, you're going to have 2 DPSer / DPS tank survival builds, kiting the boss around and using the turrets to drop them by shooting the backpack. Keep threat on the boss by shooting the green chest plate on him anytime it lights up. That will gain you threat. The other 6 players will be burning ads until the boss drops to a knee. That's when you call out, say boss down, shoot the boss until he stands back up, and then go back to ad control. Focus on the computers on callouts when you hear the alarm, and it's going to be a down. So the second boss in Dark Hours is Weasel. He has 2 henchmen, Dizzy and Ricochet, that come out first simultaneously. You want to split your raid. Either 6 or 7 people go to the B side elevator, while 1 or 2 individuals go to the A side elevator. In this video, you see us actually pressing the computers in the middle twice. However, there's a strategy where you can essentially have 1 person go to the A side with a Crusader shield and only hit the screen once before you kill the boss. So essentially what's going to happen is there's going to be an airplane in the center with middle, back, and front consoles. One of the screens will have a green indicator that that's where you should click, but both individuals on each side have to click simultaneously. So in order to start the fight, we need someone with the green screen to call out either front, middle, or back. The other person on the other side says ready when they're at that screen across from them. You do a 3, 2, 1 countdown and you hit the screen. If it does it correctly, then both screens will light up into either purple or orange and the fight will begin. When the fight begins, Dizzy and Ricochet will come out of the glass panes that you'll see where you came in from the elevator side. The people that are on the B side, the 7 or 6 individuals, are going to light up Ricochet as quick as they can. You want to kill him as quick as possible with the orange gas down on the ground. Orange gas is the indicator that you can DPS fully and do max damage. You'll also take in a little extra damage while the gas is down on the ground, but it's the DPS gas phase. If you're on the purple side, you take reduced damage, but you also deal a lot less damage. And that goes for the boss as well. So you want to make sure that if you're on that purple side, either the 1 or 2 individuals, you want to keep that shield up so that your shield can just deflect any bullets coming your way. Once Ricochet dies, the middle plane will open up and you will have a purple gas phase. In this video, you'll see we actually hit the button again to create an orange phase, but in most cases, you'll have to just sit and wait for the purple phase to end. All individuals should go to one side of the map and loosely spread out, as there'll be ads and the Dizzy ad as well as Weasel coming out at this point on the opposite side. You want to burn all DPS on Dizzy whenever you have an orange phase. And the rule of thumb is generally kill an ad when the orange gas comes out before you switch to Dizzy or Weasel. The one thing to note with Weasel is he does like to do sticky bombs on a random player. That person will get shot at. He will have a red circle around him. You want to make sure that you just dodge roll away from your team as best as possible. Burn them in the head. If you do get threat, you're going to get an eyeball from one of the 2 bosses. They're going to shoot a grenade at you. So just make sure you take cover as best you can if you have threat and try to survive. Snipers take priority over the assault ads, as snipers will 1-shot or 2-shot most players. The third boss in Dark Hours is Buddy+Lucy. They're 2 robotic dogs that come out, and essentially you have to burn them down as close as possible together. So the strategy that most pugs are doing these days, and because DPS is so high, is we basically bring them out into the center, have 2 to 3 of your DPS, depending on your DPSers, focus Lucy, while the other 5 to 6 individuals focus Buddy. It is recommended to have a healer on this build, this fight. So if you have someone that has future initiative heals, please switch to it. Otherwise, run DPS for this. Buddy will heal every so often. So every 10 to 15 seconds, Buddy heals about 1 bar or 2 bars worth of his armor. That's why you stick more DPS on Buddy. Other than that, they're just straight stand up and line of sight the middle and burn both of them as best you can, focusing on the blinking light and the front of them for a headshot indicating damage. The last thing to note is if they do an overdrive where they run back to the center, you want to make sure that you line of sight the middle for Lucy, especially because she will do the spin. She does do this off the start. She'll spin around twice, so make sure you don't get caught in the spin. If you do get caught in the spin, you should survive it if you have full health, even as a red DPSer. That is why your healer is there to keep you back up if you do get caught. But this strategy is really just unload on the 2 bosses as best you can, trying to keep them within the bracket while you burn. So try to be conscious of the other one that you're not burning when you're burning them. Razorback, being the 4th and final boss of the instance, generally has a little bit more of a strategy to it. So the first thing you want to notice is Razorback is a black tank in the middle of the map that has 4 stations marked with numbers 1, 2, 3, and 4 on the inside circles and on the outer turrets. So you want to position your group, or you want to rather assign your group 2 players per corner with an inside player and an outside player. Generally, the composition for a Discord pug now requires most players to have a jammer build. So you'd have that person on circle 4 inside with survivalist, a 4 set of hardwire with BTSU gloves and a glass cannon, so that that person can essentially take out the drones that come out during the boss burn phase and weak point phase. With that being said, going back to the compositions, anything else can go. You want to run DPS for the most part on this, and not skill build. You want to have red weapon DPS. If you have a Ravenous from Iron Horse with a pistol Dodge City holster, D50 or Magnum, you want to run that as well, because it will help on the weak points if you do weak point damage. So the mechanics of this fight. The first thing to note is that there's going to be ads coming all around the perimeter of the map, so they'll keep coming in as the fight progresses. One ad in particular is the Chonga. That's going to be coming up every, I think, 45 seconds to a minute. The Chongas come through. A Chonga will show up, and it's a heavy that runs to one of the 4 turrets along the perimeters of the map in each corner. They'll run to the turret, and they'll stand at the computer screen. You want to make sure that if you're the outside individual of that turret or that corner, you want to shoot that Chonga in the bum. And I'm not making that metaphorical. I'm literally telling you to shoot the Chonga in the bum. He has no armor plating on his bum, so it's easier to take them down. He will take health damage right off the bat, and he will die quicker. If you don't kill the Chonga about 10 or 15 seconds after he reaches the computer, then it's a wipe. You'll hear missiles go off and everybody will die. So the Chongas are the priority for the outside individuals. If you're an outside 1, 2, 3, or 4 member, those are your main priority throughout the entire fight. When Razorback gets to 50%, just note that there'll be 2 Chongas that come out at a time instead of 1. So please keep your eyes open in case your turret has a Chonga coming out to it, and focus that Chonga down immediately. Now, for the inside individuals. For number 4, that will most likely be your jammer. So your hardwire jammer build will be on inside 4. The other 3 inside players normally will have the Ravenous pistol builds with a survivalist setup. But if not, you can always just break it down with your DPS builds in any event. You want to switch to a concussion grenade and make sure that you have concussion grenades equipped, not your specialist grenade. So once you have a concussion grenade equipped, what you want to do is, when you're ready, after a Chonga comes out and goes to the turret and gets killed, you want to say Chonga down, and then circles go ready in 3, 2, 1. When you do the countdown, everybody that's an inside circle person needs to step inside the circle relatively together. If you're off by a second or 2, it doesn't matter. But if you're off by, say, 5 to 10 seconds, you should probably all step out of your circles and redo the count to step back in. When the circles reach 100%, the vent will open up on the front and back side of Razorback. This vent is located basically where a license plate would be on a regular car. These vents can be broken by the survivalist crossbow in one shot. So that's why you have a survivalist sitting in the front and back side, so that those vents get broken immediately. Once the vent is broken, you want to throw a grenade inside the red vent until the light turns green. You can also use a demolitionist grenade launcher with special ammo to break this as well. But the point is you want to throw your grenade in and turn it green so that the light is green on both the front and back. Once you see this happen, that's when you can step out of the circle. So prior to this, all the people that are doing circles, when you're using the survivalist crossbow, you want to make sure that you're in the circle. When you're throwing the grenade, you want to make sure that you're in the circle. All 4 individuals. Once the grenades go in and you see Razorback open up further, that's when you can move out of the circles. At this point, it's the weak point burns. And so on the front, if you're looking at Razorback, they're going to be on the flaps left and right side. You'll see them with health bars as indicators. On the back side, it's a little easier. You'll see a center panel pop up, and they're literally on that center panel left and right side. So you want to take Ravenous and you want to shoot it left on your left shoulder 6 times and then switch to your right once to get the damage buff up. Then switch to your pistol and shoot off that shot with the Dodge City charge. That will essentially break the weak point. You might have to do it twice in order to break the weak point, but that's how you want to break the weak point as quick as possible. If you do not have that build, then by all means just shoot it with your regular red build. Once both weak points on one side break, then a critical point is exposed, and you'll get a message from the game saying critical is exposed. That's when everybody on that side should focus that critical point. When the critical point goes down to 50%, the boss is going to make an alarm sound, and this indicates that missiles are going to shoot out of the boss towards probably 6 or 7 players at a time. Those players need to barrel roll out of the way and run away from the boss as best you can. Stay out of the missile indicators that are red circles on the ground. 2 missiles will fire at each player, and then you essentially wait for a Chonga, and the whole thing resets as far as the rotation goes. So again, to recap on these phases, you start the fight by doing the countdown 3, 2, 1 for the inside circles. Everybody gets into the inside circles, ads start to come out. Once the circles reach 100%, you want to switch to your crossbow guy on each side, front and back, shoot the vents down. When the vents are broken, you want to throw a grenade inside the vent so that it explodes and turns each side green while staying in the circle. After that happens, you'll see the boss open up his weak points. Your raid leader can call out either break front or back weak point, and then you focus the critical points. Once the critical point goes 50%, you'll avoid the missiles that shoot out during the alarms, which then after that, you want to take cover from the missiles, find where the Chonga is on the outside portion, kill the Chonga, and then do circles again. Rinse, repeat. Once Razorback has all 4 criticals down, in other words, when the front and back criticals are dead and you did 2 phases each with 50% per phase, then it's the final part where you want to have both your inside and your outside players go to the turret where the Chongas were. So in other words, the missile turret on the outer side, you want to go to that turret on your corner. So if you're a 4 inside, you want to make sure that you go to turret 4 on that same part on the outside. You want to look at the computer that's currently grayish white screen that's inactive. When your screen turns yellow and red and it starts flashing, that's your indicator to shoot as best you can that screen until your missile turret computer blows up. You want to do this for all 4 turrets. They will activate at random. Once this happens, Razorback will explode and you'll get your loot. Make sure that you get your keys along the way. If you need to find keys or don't know where the keys are, watch another guide for that. This is mainly a boss strategy guide. I hope you enjoy. Leave a like and comment if you did, and good luck in the raid, guys.
We win! Yay!
You be late, kid.
GG!